Good morning, everybody. Welcome to This Week on Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here today doing this episode of This Week, which happens every week, basically just detailing the content on this channel. Now, we mostly talk about what's happening in the coming week, which is the week that we're in. But sometimes I do talk a little bit at length if I'm doing something that's going to be coming out in the future. And sometimes I do conversations about what's going to be what happened last week, if there was a particular thing that people didn't understand or whatever. There's a little one this week. It's not a big one. I did do a mini series which I threw in there because I've been thinking about it. And I know some people weren't quite understanding why I chose the 6 groups I chose. So I'll just give a little bit of an explanation on this before we get moving on to the rest of the show for the week. So the reason I chose these 6 bands for the Big 6 was because those are the ones that everybody knows. Those are the ones that people talk about on the YouTube network. These are considered the known Big 6. These are not my choices. I didn't choose these bands. They were the ones that were out there. I could have chosen any 6 I wanted, and I could have chose 10, or I could have chose 15, or I might have chose only 3. But I chose to go with this because I'd seen this many times on different YouTube sites where people talking about the Big 6, so I thought, you know what, I'll just give my swing on it. That's all it was. It was nothing else, nothing personal about the bands, nothing untrue. There was no other motive other than to talk about these 6 bands. And I know one particular person didn't like my swing on Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But I didn't choose the Big 6. I just talked about them. And Emerson, Lake and Palmer was just one of those bands that I didn't listen to much because they're not a band that I'm into much. But that's just the way it is. So anyways, enough of that. That's done. That's last week. So we're going to go on to this week. So the first show that normally comes out is on a Sunday night, and usually it's either Ben's Album Challenge or the Great Album Challenge. Now, the Great Album Challenge we had last week, so it's Ben's Album Challenge this week. And Ben has given me the progressive band Starcastle and their self-titled album. I've actually listened to this once, and I'm going to listen to it again today before I make my video. Good album. I think people will find that they will enjoy listening to this album quite a bit if they get a chance to. I'm going to try and also put up the connection for it. I've not done this before, but I'm going to try to put up the connection that Ben gave me for it. Okay, the next show that usually comes out is the Monday night look back at a classic rock album, and I do have my prop here for that. Misplaced Childhood. Oh, sorry, let's try to get it a better angle. There you go. So I've been this album has been in my playlist now for 5 months, maybe 5.5 months. I've listened to it enough that I feel comfortable enough giving a review of it, talking about it. So it will be the album. It's also a good album too. So normally I only do a look back at a classic rock album if it's at least a 2 or better, and I don't do anything below that. There's no point to it. So I just do this, and this one is good enough to be like a 1, and will probably end up maybe eventually being a masterpiece. But anyways, it's a really good album, so we'll be doing that on your look back at a classic rock album this week. Okay, so for the next show, I'm going to take my glasses off because even though they help reading, they really screw up everything else. It's called, this week will be What's New. I usually alternate with What's New with metal. So last week metal we did the Beast in Black group and their 3 studio albums, talked about the group in general as well. And that one I actually did an outdoors video, which I won't be doing again because I'm paying for it now from the mosquitoes. Okay, so so this album that we're doing this week was a band emailed me and asked me if I would do a review of their album, and so I'm going to. I've listened to it a bit. I think it's a pretty solid album, but I will be giving a bit of a review on it. And the album is called The Fierce and the Dead. Well, the album isn't called that, that's the band. The band is The Fierce and the Dead, and News from the Invisible World is the name of the album. So we'll be doing that this week on What's New. Also, oops. Okay, that wasn't a good idea. So the next thing up is Wednesday Night Favorites. So this week we'll be ranking the songs off of Jethro Tull's, which I have here, Songs from the Wood. This is my favorite Tull album. And the reason I decided to do this one this week was because last week I did my runs, and this album I did Jethro Tull, and this album didn't get in on it because it's part of only a 2-album run, so I didn't want to do that. I did the other part of the Jethro Tull run. Anyways, this is a great album. I love every track on it, and I'm actually interested to see how I look at them now, because I haven't really thought about this album too much for a bit, but I know that I like every song on it, and I'll see how I'm going to rank them for this week's favorites. Now, pick up the 2 albums I just dropped off the rack here. Okay, so the next show that normally comes out is Forward Champion. Now, we do not have a Forward Champion as of yet. Currently, it's between Supertramp's Crime of the Century and Heart's Little Queen. If Heart's Little Queen wins, this will drastically change what I do for the Forward Champion this week. And if Crime of the Century wins, then we will retire that album from the competition and have 2 new ones. And if we do that, the 2 new ones I've decided to choose from are this one, Fragile from Yes, and I can never figure out how to hold this one, Gentle Giants, Acquiring the Taste. This will be the battle if we get there. If not, one of these 2 will face Little Queen. I'm not quite sure which one. I probably will go with Fragile, since it was the first one on my thought list when I decided to do this. Okay. Friday night we will be doing Monster Hits, and the year is 1977. Yep, we're up to 1977 now. I quite like doing this episode. It's kind of fun to look through and see all of the different hits, songs that were hits that year, and then try to pare it down to 10, and then try to rank those 10. Yeah, it's a difficult assignment. Some of the years are more difficult than others, because I want to put 15 songs in there, but I don't want to go beyond 10. 10 is a good number. Top 10, you know. That's how they usually do it, right? Okay, and then also this week, which will come on a Thursday, I got it a little bit out of sequence. I left it at the bottom, which is what I purchased this week, or my album hauls, if you prefer. I only have 8 at the current time of this video, but there may be more. I may make the trip there and pick up a couple more, but I have 8 at this point in time. A better month than last month. This month will be better now that I've been working full-time for a bit, and we will get to that. And then, of course, the next thing on the agenda for the week is the beginning of September, so we'll be starting the new series, which I think I'm going to title Obscure Prog Band War, or something of that nature. Basically, it's going to be 2 albums pitted against each other. I'll listen to both, talk a bit about both, and then make my decision as to which one of these will move on to the second round. And we'll do this all month until we crown a obscure prog queen, or queen, king, or whatever you want to call it, a champion anyways. And the first 2 episodes, I will let you know, we are going to be doing the first episode will feature and I'm not sure I'm going to get this name right, but I'm going to. I think it's Alavatar, and the album will be called Children, and it will be facing Shingetsu. It's a Japanese band and their self-titled album. And then the second episode will feature the band Mystery, The World's is a Game, versus Medina and their self-titled episode. Most of this stuff is pretty obscure, wasn't easy to find on the internet. I doubt I looked through the entire set that Ben gave me for this challenge, because he's doing the challenge. He picked the bands, the 32 bands, and I'm doing the reviews and the voting on it. Like I said, the 32 bands that I looked through, most of them are pretty obscure and would be difficult to find, to purchase. So that's the only drawback about obscure bands. Yes, I like them, but I am not an internet listening guy. So I mean, there are some people, and I'm hoping that people that are doing this are into that, can look these up and listen to them. My job is to try and talk about them, to try to get you interested enough to go and check them out. But finding them in CDs and stuff might be difficult. But those will be the first two for this week, and then we'll have a whole series of them for next week. As for anything else coming up on the channel, I won't be doing any of my one-offs this week. I've got too many things going on, too much to do, so there won't be any of that. Rock Legends, I know I've been talking about this, but I'm going to have to put it off for a bit longer, just because the listening to time that it takes for so many albums, plus so many of these new the new series beginning, take up a lot of time. So I will be putting that off, but we will get to it sooner or later. I will get to my Rock Legends on now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, sorry, Roy Orbison. I forgot about that. So anyways, I didn't make a note of it because I'm not doing it this week, so I didn't make a note of it. But anyways, we will get to that as well. And then I'm also plotting out a couple more mini-series, but I don't think I'll be doing any mini-series in September, since I have the main series going on. I tend not to do those mini-series when I've got, well, I just think it's too much work. So anyways, there you have it. That's what's going to be going on this week on the channel and in the future. And I hope you have a good day. Please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And we'll be back with an episode of Ben's Album Challenge tonight. So have yourself a good day. Take care. Bye.